And welcome back. Want to talk right now with our panel of experts, Chris Dudley from Southern Strategy Group and Katie Webb from Kolodny Fast, about the entry of Ron DeSantis into the governor's race in 2018. He's challenging Adam Putnam, and there might be a handful of other candidates, but those are the two biggies right now. There's a few others rumored to get in. Before I ask you guys what your thoughts are on this and how it might change the game, I want to roll some tape real quick, have you take a look at it right there.
So does Ron DeSantis run for governor? He's out there, the congressman. He's out there rattling sabers. They're both sort of in the same boat money-wise. I mean, I think Corcoran has an advantage at this point, but not a huge advantage.
I'll disagree with Chris on this one. I think DeSantis gets in.
And who does it benefit? I think
Adam Putnam.
Benefits Putnam. I think I agree with that, just because I think they're both running for the same lane. Chris, you agree?
Yeah, if he gets in, it does, but I don't.
If you don't think he will, fair enough.
Anything?
I remember that fondly. I think right afterwards I predicted that FSU would be playing in the national championship game tonight.
Also bold.
I've been wrong a lot in politics, so.
Really?
Yeah. Ironically, DeSantis still hasn't come to Florida and announced he's running for governor. So he needs to do that at some point.
Nice shot, and that's what Putnam said. That's what Putnam's team said.
Yeah.
You're up here making an announcement in a New York studio with no one around. And by contrast, to Putnam's credit, he had a massive announcement in his hometown, and lots of people showed up. It was actually rather impressive. So there's definitely a contrast there. I'm not sure if it makes a difference to the average rank and file voter, but we'll find out.
Right.
Katie, first impressions. You've got, DeSantis is now definitely in. You've got Corcoran, saber rattling, but we're right at the beginning of the legislative session, and what do you think all this means for 2018?
Well, I'll start off with just taking a little victory sip.
Rubbing it in. Yes, victory sip. We should have clinked. Let's clink. The lesson, I think, there is don't make predictions on camera, right?
Yeah. Just kidding. What I would say that, the most immediate type of friction that we're going to see is how this does play out with Richard Corcoran. Philosophically, he and DeSantis seem to be a little bit more in line with each other, so I would imagine that the two of them will be drawing from the same supporter base.
Right.
And then Adam Putnam is, a little bit more on the more moderate side. And then the president has come out and via Twitter and basically endorsed DeSantis and said he would be a great governor for the state of Florida, and a couple other comments. So, I think that you look at the folks that are, theoretically Trump supporters and how they might be split between the speaker and DeSantis should the speaker continue to talk about getting in the race.
Right.
So that's what I would say.
Right. Chris, I'm going to let you off the hook early here. And that is just to say that Adam Putnam is not Bill McCollum. I think we can all agree that it's not the same thing, but there are people who would like that to be the case, obviously on the DeSantis side. Why isn't he, though? Tell us why, in your view, he's not.
Adam's got a personality. I mean, he's a smart guy.
And this is from you, and you joked earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I joked about, I had a Bill McCollum T-shirt. I mean, I've been around politics a long time, and I've always, I have tended to support Republicans who have always been Republicans, have been in the state, who, have been loyal to the grassroots folks, who have been loyal to the standards of the party. Adam is a really different guy, though. I mean, I think he meets all of that, but he's, he has really worked hard. He has proven that he can raise the money. He is a dynamic speaker in front of groups. He's really able to get people passionate about, moving the state forward. And candidly, Governor Scott's done a great job, and I think Adam is one of those guys that recognizes that and is going to continue to move it in that direction. I'll just say this. I mean, I'm not anti-Ron DeSantis. I mean, he's an impressive guy. I haven't met him. I don't know much about him. I do think it's hard when your job is in Washington, D.C., and you're limited from asking for corporate contributions. I think our system here in Florida is going to make it difficult for a sitting congressman to be in Washington and run for governor. I think that'll be tough.
McCollum had no trouble. I mean, I shouldn't say no trouble. I'm sure it was a lot of work, but he raised, by the end of the 2010 campaign in the primary, he raised $25 million. Adam Putnam is already close to that. I mean, not close, but he's 15, almost $20 million in now. How high do you think this race goes? in a primary like this? Are we going to break records again? I'll throw it to either one of you. I don't know.
Gosh. I mean, it'd be hard to break what Governor Scott.
Sure. Now he put in
Spend.
another $50 million of his own, while
Right.
McCollum only was able to do 25. But we're talking. I mean, that was a lot of money back then, and that shattered records in 2010.
Yeah.
Are these guys? Are we destined to see that again? I mean, this time around, it's not going to be Rick Scott, just dumping his own money in. It's going to be these guys raising it from a lot of different sources. Are there enough sources, I guess, to make it the race like that?
It'll be interesting. I mean, I'll be, and Katie and I have done this a long time. I mean, I'm amazed at how the money continues to grow in politics and how much of it continues to come in. And I get we're $85 billion state and we continue to grow, but I don't know how they get. I don't know how it continues to incrementally grow the way it is.
Yeah. When we come back, I mean, we have to cut to a break real quick. But when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about regardless of how much money the two of those guys raise, is there enough money in the system for, let's say, a third guy like Richard Corker? We'll come back and we'll talk about that in just a moment.